In the beginning of the drama, we see our female lead Yuji entering her hotel room. This was the same room where her father had arranged a grand birthday party for her. The room was decorated with expensive decorations, and all around it, there was a pile of extremely costly gifts. But despite all this, there was not even a little happiness on Yuji's face. It felt like something was not right. She was sitting quietly when suddenly she felt some movement behind her. She immediately turned around and looked, and was shocked. There stood two men wearing the uniforms of the hotel's cleaning staff, but they were not real cleaning staff. They were kidnappers. Both of them rushed quickly towards her. Yuji tried with all her strength to fight against them. In the middle of the struggle, she grabbed the hand of one of the men, and at that very moment, she saw a glowing pink color. Seeing this, she herself was startled. We still don't understand what that color means, but it was clear that it was very important to her. Before she could understand anything, the other man gave her an electric shock with a taser. Her entire body went numb, and she fell to the ground, unconscious. But to understand why all this is happening, we need to go back 2 hours. Yuji was present at her birthday party. It was an extremely grand and magnificent event. For an ordinary 20-year-old girl, having such a grand party was unusual. But Yuji was no ordinary girl. She was the only heir of the Agami family, one of the richest families in Japan. Her father, King-un, was the chairman of a powerful pharmaceutical company. During the party, her aunt came to meet her, but when Yuji touched her, nothing happened. No color appeared. This was strange because usually, whenever Yuji touched King-un, she would see different color. Yuji politely greeted her aunt and her aunt's husband and apologized for not meeting them for such a long time. They understood that her father had almost completely cut Yuji off from the world. He controlled her entire life and did not let her meet other people. It was also clear that the relationship between King-un and his sister was not good. Meanwhile, on the other side, the two kidnappers had already entered Yuji's hotel room. They had made the whole plan very carefully. They were completely sure that Yuji would return to her room after the party ended. One of them had golden hair. His name was Ram. He is our male lead. The other had black hair, and his name was Yamo. After the party ended, Yuji returned to the room with her personal assistant, Mandy. Mandy dropped her off at the room and went outside so she could arrange some food for her. And after that, what happened, we have already seen. When Mandy returned, Yuji was not there. Her mobile phone was lying on the floor. Mandy got scared. She searched the entire hotel for Yuji, but when she found no clue anywhere, she finally called Yuji's father, King-un. King-un immediately ordered that Yuji's location be tracked. Then it is revealed that he had secretly installed a tracking device on Yuji's body, which he had forced her to wear. After this, we find out that a third man is also involved in this kidnapping. His name is Ling, and he is the leader of this entire gang. Now these three were taking the unconscious Yuji in a car towards their hideout. After some time, Yuji regains consciousness. As soon as she opens her eyes, Ram immediately points a knife at her and warns her not to try any tricks. Ling speaks to her in a calm voice and says, "If you stay calm, no one will harm you. We have no enmity with you. We have business with your father." Finally, they reach a deserted hut. There, they tie Yuji up and send an email to her father. They demand a ransom of 300 million yen in exchange for Yuji's release. Along with this, they also send a video of Yuji in which she is shown tied up. The message was completely clear. If King-un tried any trick, he would lose his daughter forever. King-un is badly shaken seeing all this, but despite this, he is not ready to meet the kidnappers' demand. Meanwhile, Mandy somehow manages to track their location and immediately informs the police. After some time, Yuji asked for permission to go to the bathroom. Ram, being cautious, tied one of her wrists to his own wrist with handcuffs and took her to the bathroom. Once inside, he said he would not look towards her. Not only that, he started singing loudly so that he could not hear anything either. But then suddenly there was a knock on the door of the hut. Mandy was standing outside the door. She was pretending to be searching for a missing girl. In reality, she was trying to buy time so the police could get a chance to arrive. Ling immediately sensed the danger. He ordered Ram to take Yuji and leave through the back way, while he himself would handle the situation at the front. As soon as Ling opened the door, the police rushed inside. A scuffle broke out there, but suddenly something happened that no one had imagined. Ling suddenly collapsed on the ground. His heart had stopped beating. He died right there. Meanwhile, Ram fled with Yuji in the car. On the way, Yuji once again grabbed Ram's hand, and at that very moment, she again saw the same pink color. Ram misunderstood her action. He thought Yuji was trying to seduce him or flirt with him. He got angry and told her not to do that. But then Yuji suddenly lifted her leg and said to him, "Cut off this thing tied on my leg." It was the tracking device. Yuji said, "If you don't remove it, The police will find us. Ram hesitated for a moment, but finally cut off the device and removed it. At the same time, Mandy completely lost contact with their signal. To dodge the police, Ram and Yuji also changed their car. Ram was surprised. He asked Yuji, "Why are you helping me?" Then Yuji told the truth for the first time. She said that her father had forced her to wear that tracking device. He kept watch on her every activity. She never got the freedom to go out of the house on her own will. Her entire life was nothing less than a prison, and the most surprising thing was that despite being kidnapped, she did not want to go back to her father. She said honestly, "It's better than living with them, that I go anywhere. The house I live in is nothing less than a jail for me." Hearing this from Yuji, Ram was deeply moved. Later that night, Ram bought new clothes for Yuji because her party dress was inconvenient for traveling. Yuji asked him his name. Ram refused to answer and said this was not the right time for introduction. But Yuji smilingly said, "I have already heard your name. King-un called you Ram." Hearing this, Ram got irritated. Now his identity had been revealed in front of Yuji. Meanwhile, Mandy returned to her home. There she found a man waiting for her. The man introduced himself as Hiro. He was a journalist and had an unusual interest in Yuji's kidnapping case. The strangest thing was that this case was kept completely confidential. Yet Hiro had information about it. He gave Mandy his card and said, "Very soon we are going to need each other." Saying this, he left from there. Meanwhile, during the journey, Yuji asked Ram to buy hair dye. She wanted to change her appearance so the police could not easily recognize her. On the way, Ram stopped at a place to fix the car's tire. Then Yuji found out that he was actually a mechanic. She asked him to hurry up. They had to reach a city named Utsunomiya. Yuji wanted to meet her mother there, but Ram said, "Your mother died at the time of your birth." Yuji, looking at him, replied in a calm voice, "My real mother, yes, but the woman who raised me was someone else." What was that woman's name? After marriage, she settled in this city. Although they lived far apart, Yuji and Kei always stayed in contact with each other. So when Yuji expressed this small wish of hers that she wanted to meet her, Ram agreed to her request. Yuji took him to Kei's address. That place was also her husband's restaurant. But when they arrived there, the restaurant was closed. Since there was no other option, both of them spent the night in the car. The next morning, Ram suddenly woke up in panic. Yuji was not beside him. His heart started beating fast. He remembered that he had trusted her and removed her handcuffs. He thought Yuji had run away and left him. But as soon as he quickly stepped out of the car, he saw Yuji coming back towards him. In her hands were breakfast items. She smiled and said, "I want to get breakfast for both of us." Hearing this, Ram took a sigh of relief. Both of them sat together and started eating. While eating, Ram asked her, "Why didn't you run away?" Yuji said in a calm voice, "I have already told you that I don't want to go back to my father." After this, she put forward a proposal that Ram had never expected. Yuji, looking at Ram, said, "I can help you. I will pretend to go back home, and we'll split the ransom money between the two of us." Hearing this, Ram was stunned for a moment. Then he looked at her and said, "You are truly a genius." Meanwhile, when King-un found out that Ling was behind Yuji's kidnapping, there wasn't as much surprise on his face as there would be on an ordinary person's face. Instead, it seemed as if he already knew that something like this would happen one day, as if something had happened in their past, because of which all this wasn't completely unexpected. Meanwhile, Yuji found out that Kei had now divorced her husband and no longer lived at that restaurant. Now she had her own separate house, so Yuji and Ram set out to find her. When they reached the restaurant again, Yuji told Ram that Kei worked there. And then finally that moment arrived. As soon as Kei saw Yuji, happiness filled her eyes. But at that very moment, something strange happened. When Yuji moved forward to hug her, Kei stepped back. She acted as if nothing had happened, but she very carefully avoided touching Yuji. Then she said that right now she was busy with work. She gave Yuji her home address and said they could meet there later. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mandy secretly contacted Hiro and asked for his help in finding Yuji. She asked him, "What do you want in return?" But Hiro's answer was vague and a little frightening. He said clearly that when it comes to the Agami family, he is ready to go to any extent. After this, both of them reached Ling's house. But Hiro told them that the house now belonged to Ling's ex-wife. Both of them met her, and she agreed to talk to them. Throughout the conversation, she kept her eyes lowered, full of shame and guilt. She apologized for what Ling had done. She told them that Ling had a serious heart disease. His days were already numbered. They had never imagined that he would take a step like kidnapping King-un. When Mandy asked about their daughter, Ling's ex-wife told a heartbreaking truth. Their daughter had died more than 25 years ago. Hearing this, Hero asked, was Ling's revenge because of what happened to his daughter? She nodded to confirm this. She said that Ling had only one thing on his mind: revenge against the Yagami company. Mandy got completely confused. She wasn't able to understand the truth of this whole matter. Then Hero, looking at her, said, you don't even know the truth about the company you work for. And then he began lifting the veils of the past. 27 years ago, Ling and Kingyun used to be very good friends. Both of them worked as researchers and scientists developing medicines at the Yagami company. During that time, Ling's daughter was suffering from a rare disease. In a desperate attempt to save his daughter, Ling had developed a medicine that could cure her disease. But for that medicine to get official approval, human trials with the company's permission were necessary. Ling wanted his daughter to be the first patient of that medicine because she didn't have much time left. According to the doctors, his daughter only had a few days of life remaining. Ling was completely dependent on Kingyun. He trusted that his friend would help him, but everything went wrong. The company chose greed over humanity. Instead of conducting local trials to save Ling's daughter's life, the company decided to make that medicine a global product. To earn more profit, they decided to conduct its trials in the United States, and because of this decision, Ling's daughter died. A year later, Ling divorced his wife. He completely left his old life behind and became a mechanic. On the other hand, fortune favored Kingyun. The owner of the Yagami company officially adopted him, and gradually Kingyun became the heir of the same company. When Mandy put this entire truth in front of Kingyun, for the first time the color drained from his face. His hands started trembling. He couldn't even deny these accusations. But despite this, he said only one thing. Right now, the most important thing is to bring Yuji back. Yuji was sitting with Kay, and she told her the entire story of her kidnapping, Ram, and running away from her father. At first, Kay thought that Yuji and Ram were in a relationship with each other, but Yuji took advantage of that same misunderstanding and said something deep to her. She said that she wanted to live with her like before because now Kay was the only person left in her life whom she could trust. Kay agreed without any hesitation. But then a message came on Kay's phone which forced her to leave the house immediately. Now only Yuji and Ram were left in the house. Ram got angry with Yuji. He said that Yuji had exposed his identity, and now she was also refusing to go back to her father. This meant that he would never get the ransom money that was promised to him. Yuji assured him that she would not betray him. She said she herself would give him the money. First, she raised one finger. Ram thought she meant 10,000 yen, but Yuji laughed and said, no, 500. Ram accepted what she said. As time passed, Ram and Lien, who was Kay's son, started getting close to each other. Ram would bathe him, put him to sleep, and take care of him. No one had imagined this side of him. Meanwhile, Yuji started noticing some troubling things inside the house. She found some medical documents which revealed that Lien had not even been given his important childhood vaccine. She also found a report from a child welfare center which stated that attention needed to be paid to Lien's mental health. But his mother had completely ignored those warnings. Ram quietly told Yuji that she doesn't take proper care of her son. Look how long his nails have grown. It's clear he has been neglected. He also told her that when they first arrived there, Lien had been left alone at home. No child of his age should be left alone like that. Yuji listened to his words silently, but when she touched Lien's hand, she saw a completely white color. That color made her heart even heavier. The next day, Yuji took Ram to give him the money she had promised. She withdrew money from the bank and handed him 900,000 yen. Apologizing, she said that this was all the money currently in her account. Ram got confused. Then Yuji, laughing again, said, I didn't mean 10,000. I meant 1 million yen. She thanked Ram from her heart. She said that for everything he had done for her, she would always be grateful to him. Then, smiling, she said, you are not a bad person at all, the way I thought at the beginning. Ram shook hands with her and wished her well for her new life. At that very moment, when Yuji touched his hand, she once again saw that same pink color. After this, Ram set her free and left from there. He had decided that now was the time to go back to his old life. Yuji went back to Kay, but as soon as she reached the house, she saw that Kay was already waiting for her. She looked extremely troubled. She quickly took Yuji inside the house and stayed very close to her the entire time, as if she was keeping a close watch on her. After a while, Yuji realized a terrifying truth. She understood that Kay had locked her inside the house. Yuji also found out that Kay had already given all the information to her father. Now they were just waiting for Kingyun to come so they could take Yuji back. Of course, Kay denied all of this, but then Yuji suddenly grabbed her hand. This time she saw an orange color. That color made everything clear. At that very moment, Yuji understood what Kay's real feelings were. She realized that she had been lying to her for so long. She was pretending to care about her, while inside, she had already planned to hand her over to her father. She was never really on her side. Then Kay confessed the painful truth of her life. She told her that her husband had divorced her because he didn't want to take responsibility for Lien. After the divorce, she fell in love with another man, but that man also didn't want to keep Lien with him. Then Yuji understood why Kay had been neglecting Lien for so long. And just then, the sound of police vehicles was heard outside. Without wasting even a moment, Yuji immediately grabbed Lien's hand and ran from there. She went straight to the place where Ram had earlier parked his car, and luckily Ram was still there. He was sitting inside the car, getting ready to leave. Yuji quickly got Lien and herself into the car and said in a panic, "Hurry up, go. My father has found me." Ram agreed to flee with her, but as soon as he saw Lien, he hesitated. He said, "We too can run, but Lien cannot come with us. If we take him along, this will become a new kidnapping case." But Yuji, becoming emotional, said, "Lien's color is completely white. That means he is very lonely. He is innocent, and he needs someone who cares for him. We can't just leave him like this." During this argument, suddenly Mandy's eyes fell on Yuji. Their eyes met. Yuji got scared and shouted, "Ram, drive now." Ram immediately drove the car, and they managed to get away from there. After this, Mandy called Kingyun and told them that she had seen Yuji. But Yuji herself ran away from her, and from what she had seen, this case didn't look like a kidnapping at all anymore. Instead, it seemed like Yuji was running away of her own will. After Mandy gave Ram's description to the police, it became much easier for the police to find him, especially because Ram already had a criminal record and had once stayed in a juvenile detention center. The police officer who was given responsibility for this case was named Jean, and coincidentally, Jean was the same officer who had handled Ram's case in the past. Meanwhile, Yuji, Ram, and Lien stopped at a place to eat and started thinking about what to do next. But then Ram's eyes fell on a news report. He immediately showed Yuji that news. Kingyun had publicly announced that his daughter had been kidnapped. Not only that, he had also announced that whoever brought Yuji home safely or helped find her would be given a reward of 100 million yen. Now the situation had truly become serious. The entire country became aware of this news. This case became a topic of national discussion. Meanwhile, Yamo was also watching this news quietly. He had already fled from there, and he didn't know where Ram and Yuji were. But he suspected that maybe Ram was planning to grab the entire ransom amount for himself. On the other side, Jean went to meet Ram's mother. Then it was revealed that Ram's mother worked at an insurance company. She told the officer that for the past 2 weeks, she hadn't had any conversation with her son. Panicking, she asked, "What exactly has happened?" But Jean said in a calm voice, "Don't worry. If you get any information about Ram, please contact this number." Saying this, he gave her his number. Meanwhile, messages kept coming continuously on Ram's phone. Yuji suddenly snatched his phone to see what was actually going on. Then her eyes fell on the messages from a person named John. John had written that he couldn't believe Ram had gotten into such a big trouble by teaming up with Ling. Yuji immediately asked, "Was John also the third partner involved in my kidnapping?" Ram shook his head and said, "No, this is someone else." Just then, another message came from John. It warned that the police were searching for Ram. Ram said, taking a deep breath, "This was bound to happen. The police must have investigated all of Ling's connections. Sooner or later, they would have reached me too." Yuji asked curiously, "But how does John know all this?" Ram replied, "He's probably a hacker. Someone who can secretly listen to police communication." Saying this, he took the phone back. It was now clear that he was very troubled inside. After a while, Ram opened up to Yuji about his past. He told her that the police were able to identify him so quickly because he already had a criminal record. When he first got his driving license, he was offered a job with a very good salary. But as soon as he submitted his license, he found out that the work was illegal. When he tried to back out, he was threatened. Finally, out of compulsion, he had to continue that work, and in the end, he was arrested. After hearing all this, Yuji made a suggestion. She said that if John could keep an eye on the police's activities, then maybe he could help them too. They could stay one step ahead of the police and escape. But Ram immediately refused. He said that getting involved with people like John is dangerous. Later, he could blackmail them. He could force them to do illegal work. And if that happened, he would have to go to jail again. Still, eventually, he gathered the courage and decided to ask John for help. They decided to meet at a public place, but when they got there, both of them were shocked. John was actually a girl. Yuji extended her hand to shake hands with her, but as soon as she touched John, she saw a terrifying swirl of many colors. Seeing this sight, she immediately felt uncomfortable. After this, John took them to her vehicle. From the outside, it looked like a moving coffee shop, but that was just a disguise. In reality, it was her mobile hacker den. She had to keep changing her location constantly so no one could trace her. When Ram and Yuji explained the entire situation to her, John agreed to help them, but she had one condition. Lian could not stay with them. She said he would only slow them down and increase the risk of all of them getting caught. Ram immediately protested. "I can't leave Lian like this." Then John gave them two options. Either the three of them keep running without any plan and eventually get caught, or they leave Lian somewhere safe and accept her help the right way. At first, Yuji decided that she didn't want John's help at all, but Ram stopped her. He said firmly, "I won't let you go back to your father again." Then he suggested a better plan. He said that Lian should be left with Jean. Ram explained that Jean was the same officer who had handled his case in the past, but more importantly than that, he was a true and good person. When Ram came out of the detention center, Jean had helped him rebuild his life. He had given him a second chance. So Ram asked John to hack Jin's phone and send him a message telling him a meeting place. When Jean received that mysterious message from an unknown number, he immediately realized it must be from Ram, and he agreed to go there. Meanwhile, Yuji stayed in John's vehicle. John used surveillance cameras to show her Ram's every movement in real time. Ram reached the place alone where he had arranged to meet Jean. There, he knelt down and spoke lovingly to Lian. His voice was filled with deep regret. He said, "I'm sorry that I have to leave you right now, but I promise that one day I will definitely come back to take you, and that day we will live together." Then he gave Lian a piece of paper and said, "In a little while, a man will come to talk to you. Give this paper to him. He might look a little scary, but he is a very good person." When Ram stood up to leave, Lian suddenly ran towards him and hugged him tightly from behind. That moment broke Ram's heart. He turned around and made another promise to Lian. "When everything calms down, I will come back to take you. Until then, you have to stay strong." After this, Ram returned to Yuji, but it was clearly visible that he was completely broken inside. Memories of his relationship with Jean kept circling through his mind. For him, Jean had always been like a father. Someone who had trusted him when the entire world had turned its back on him. And now he was completely certain that Lian also needed Jean exactly like that. Especially right now, when Jean reached the place mentioned in the message, he found only Lian there. He got confused. He knelt down in front of Lian and asked lovingly, "How did you get here?" Lian, without saying anything, handed him the paper. As soon as Jean read it, he understood that Ram had left Lian there. The note had everything written in it. How Lian's mother kept neglecting him, how she didn't really care about her son, how after the divorce she chose another man over her own son, and how Lian's father had also refused to take responsibility for him. At the end of the note, Ram had made one request to Jean. He had written, "Please take care of Lian." Jean looked gently at Lian and introduced himself. Then Lian innocently said, "Ram said that your face looks a little scary, but you're a very good person." Hearing this, Jean couldn't stop himself from laughing. On the other side, Hiro came to meet Mandy once again. He wanted to discuss something important with her, but Mandy still didn't fully trust him. She clearly said that she still didn't believe him. Then Hiro mentioned a strange word, Estatori. Mandy had never heard this name before. Then Hiro explained it to her. He told her that Estatori is a mysterious power that once belonged to the founder of the Agami pharmaceutical empire. It was because of this very power that he had made his company the most powerful pharmaceutical company in the country. Hiro remembered that 11 years ago, he had met Yagami himself. As soon as he had shaken his hand, he had a terrifying feeling. He felt as if someone was pulling his soul out of his body. He explained that with the help of Estatori, a person could read what's in people's hearts, or at least get very close to it. Then he revealed another shocking thing. There were rumors that Yuji also possessed the same power. But for now, the story turns to another girl, Ning. One day, Ning returned home with her boyfriend, but seeing Ram inside the house, Both of them were shocked. Naturally, they thought he was a thief, but Ning immediately stopped her boyfriend and said that she knew Ram. Then she asked her boyfriend to leave from there. Then it was revealed that Ning was Ram's ex-girlfriend. Ram still had a key to her house, and using that, he had come inside and was waiting for her. Yuji showed Ning the announcement that her father had made. In it, he had said he would give a huge reward in exchange for her safe return. Ning directly asked Yuji, "Did Ram really kidnap you?" Yuji shook her head and denied it. She told her the entire truth. She said that she had run away with Ram by her own will because her father was not a good person. Then she requested Ning to help them for some time until they figured out their next plan. She also told her that Ram still owed Ning 200,000 yen, and if she helped them, they would return all the money with interest. Ning was very kind-hearted by nature. She didn't think too much about it and allowed them to stay at her house. When she shook hands with Yuji saw a yellow color. At that very moment, her mind found peace. Gradually, the two girls became good friends. That same night, they sat together doing skincare. They tried different products, laughed, and talked a lot. For the first time, Yuji openly shared what was in her heart with Ning. She told her how her father had controlled her entire life, how he had taken away her freedom, and how she just wanted to live like a normal person. Even going out to have a relaxed dinner felt like a dream for her. Ning felt very sad for her. The next day, when Ning went to work, she met her boyfriend again. He felt uncomfortable that his ex-girlfriend's friend, Ram, was living in Ning's house. But Ning explained that Ram was in trouble, and right now there was no one else to help him. To fulfill one small wish of Yuji's, Ram, Ning, and Yuji all three wore different costumes and joined the city's Halloween festival. For the first time in her life, Yuji experienced true freedom. No tracking device, no restrictions, no control. Meanwhile, John was keeping watch on surveillance cameras across the city, so the police couldn't reach Yuji. That evening, when they were all sitting together eating, the topic of conversation became Ning's boyfriend. Yuji asked, "Why doesn't he call you? Why doesn't he check on you?" Ning's face fell. She admitted that her boyfriend rarely contacts her. It's always her who tries to reach out first. Even on holidays, she barely gets to see him for a few hours. Still, she loved him. After this, she admitted something painful. She said, "I feel like I have no value in this world." She also admitted that she had helped Yuji and Ram so that she could at least feel useful to someone, even if it caused her trouble herself. Hearing her words, everyone's heart felt heavy. They started feeling sad for her. They even started to hate her boyfriend, who treated her so coldly. Since John had already hacked their phones, she had heard everything Ning said. The next day, she decided to help Ning. She took everyone to a place. It was a campsite. At first, no one understood why they had come there, but suddenly they saw Ning's boyfriend, and he was not alone. He was there with his wife and daughter. The most painful thing was that his wife was also pregnant. Seeing this, Ning's world fell apart. She ran to the bathroom and burst into tears. After some time, when she came back, John was waiting for them with 4 cups of Ning's favorite drink. But this time, those drinks were not for them. They were for her boyfriend. They waited for the right moment. When he was standing a little away from his family, alone, all 4 of them approached him. One by one, everyone gave him a piece of their mind and threw the drink on his face. Finally, it was Ning's turn. For a moment, it seemed like she might not have the courage to do it. But she gathered herself. With all her strength, she shouted out her anger at him, and then threw the drink on his face. After this, all 4 of them ran from there. They kept laughing, kept shouting, and for the first time, Ning felt light. Later, she thanked all of them. She said, "For the first time in my life, I'm feeling free. Now I'm starting to understand my own worth." The next day, Ning made a bold decision. She quit her job. She decided that she would leave everything behind and start a new life in a new place. To lighten her mood, everyone gathered together once again. They bought a lot of food, and for the first time, John also fully joined in with them. They laughed, joked, and spent a warm, happy night together. But their happiness didn't last long. Suddenly, King Un called a press conference. He appeared crying on TV. He was pleading for his kidnapped daughter to be brought back safely. His acting was so convincing that anyone could believe his word. Then he made an unexpected request. He expressed his wish to meet Ram directly. He said he wanted Yuji to be there with him too. He promised that there would be no police. He just wanted to see his daughter safe. For safety, he fixed the time of the meeting. Tuesday evening at 4 o'clock at the same place where, in their childhood, he and Yuji used to practice Aikido. This announcement shook the entire country. This case had now become the biggest issue at the national level. Ram was scared of being arrested, and Yuji, who was completely broken by everything, started thinking about going back home. She wanted to tell the truth, that she had left home of her own will. At that time, Neither of them could think clearly. Meanwhile, Hero was sitting with Mandy, trying to extract information from her. He wanted to know exactly where King Yoon and Ram's meeting was going to take place. Mandy looked at him suspiciously and asked, "Why are you so obsessed with the Yagami family?" Hearing this question, Hero fell silent for the first time. Then he took a deep breath and started telling the truth. He asked, "Have you ever met Yagami, the person who founded this company?" Mandy shook her head and answered no. Hero said he was a very scary person. He told her that the first time he shook hands with Yagami, Yagami had used Torai on him. He felt as if his soul was being pulled out of his body. Since then, he always felt that Yagami had taken control of his mind. The next day, news related to Ram and Yuji was spreading. Just then, his eyes fell on a hidden report. Ling had died. Even the news of his death and funeral had been kept hidden from the public. Ram knew nothing about this. As soon as he heard this news, he was completely broken. He couldn't say anything. Yuji gently suggested that he should go to the funeral to give Ling his final goodbye. Ram hesitated. He knew this was very dangerous. He could get arrested. But Yuji insisted. She said John could help them. Then she asked Ram, "Why are you so connected to Ling?" Finally, Ram told the truth. He said that after coming out of the juvenile detention center, Ling had kept him with him. He had taught him mechanic work. He had encouraged him to take the exam to become a licensed mechanic and had given him the courage to start a new life. From that day on, Ram had started thinking of Ling as his father. Yuji went to John and told her about the funeral. John agreed to help them. Finally, together they convinced Ram to go there. Meanwhile, the police already had a guess that Ram would definitely come to give his final goodbye to the person who was like his mentor and father. So they had made full preparation. On the day of the funeral, Ram and Yuji arrived there in John's vehicle. While Yuji was helping Ram change his disguise, John explained the entire plan, how he would go in, how he would come out, and which route he would escape from. A small earpiece was placed in Ram's ear so they could stay in contact the whole time. Ram successfully made it inside the building disguised as one of the funeral staff. As soon as he reached the entrance of the hall where Ling's final viewing was taking place, he threw smoke bomb. Alarms started going off. Now he had only 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds to see his father figure one last time. But as soon as his eyes fell on Ling's lifeless body, everything inside him broke down. He collapsed right there. Tears started flowing from his eyes. He started crying uncontrollably. Drowning in grief, he completely lost track of time, and within moments, the police arrived there. John immediately told Yuji, "Get ready. This time you'll have to drive." After this, John herself ran inside to save Ram. She assured Yuji that as long as the vehicle wasn't caught, she would remain safe. John reached Ram. She shook him back to consciousness and started practically dragging him outside. But Jean was already chasing them. They somehow managed to get out of the building. But while running, they ended up on the 3rd floor. There were no stairs nearby. They had only one option left. A vehicle parked below had a lot of boxes stacked on it. One of them had to jump down and the other had to catch them. John told Ram, "You jump first. You weigh more. I'll catch you." The pressure of the situation was so intense that Ram jumped without thinking further. Fortunately, he landed safely below. After this, he looked up and told John, "Now you jump." But John looked at him and said quietly, "Take care of Yuji," and then she decided to surrender. She understood that only one of the two of them could escape. Before Jean could arrest her, John took out a device from her pocket and warned the police, "If anyone moves forward, I'll blow up this entire place." She pressed the button, but nothing happened. It was just a bluff, a false threat. Jean immediately arrested her. Meanwhile, Ram had already gotten into the vehicle. Yuji was with him, and both of them fled from there. Now they realized that they had no other option left. They had to go to Kingyun. On the way, Yuji started talking about her past. She told Ram that there was a time when her life with her father used to be very beautiful. Kingyun truly loved her a lot. Whenever Yuji held his hand, she would see that same pink color that she saw when she touched Ram. That color was a symbol of kindness, affection, and protection. But then one day, everything changed. Yuji woke up and saw her father standing beside her bed. His face looked scary. When she touched his hand, she saw a deep black color, a terrifying black color. That color meant only one thing. He hated her so much that he wanted to kill her. Finally, Yuji called Kingyun and agreed to meet them. When father and daughter came face to face, Ram stood at a distance, watching everything. Mandy was also secretly keeping an eye on them. But before greeting her father, Yuji asked him a question. She said, Why did you try to kill me? Hearing this, King-eun got terribly nervous. Memories of the past came rushing back to him. The truth was, that day when Yuji touched his hand, he wasn't thinking about Yuji. He was thinking about Yagami. The hatred in his heart wasn't for his daughter. It was for Yagami. Still, he insisted, I never wanted to harm you. But Yuji didn't believe his word. Facing her father, she said, then why was Mandy told to keep watch on me? Why did you force me to wear a tracking device? After this, Yuji revealed her biggest secret. She said, I can read people's hearts through colors. Then she said to her father, if you're telling the truth, then let me touch your hand. But he couldn't do it. He got scared. And at that moment Yuji understood everything. The truth was now completely exposed in front of her. She turned around and started to leave. But then Mandy quickly ran towards her and tried to forcibly grab her. At that very moment, Ram came forward. He put a knife to Yuji's neck and warned everyone, don't anyone try to come near us. Yuji looked at him and said softly, you don't need to pretend. Then she extended her hand and held Ram's hand. She had decided of her own will to go with him. Seeing this, King-eun got filled with anger. He started yelling at Mandy. He said, I didn't tell you to interfere. After this, he turned and left from there. On the other side, Jean was interrogating John. But John was extremely clever. She turned the conversation so smartly that Jean couldn't gather any solid evidence against her. Then it was also revealed that the button she had pressed earlier had activated a special system. That system had encrypted the data on all her devices and erased every piece of evidence that could be used against her. Meanwhile, Ram and Yuji were sitting by the seaside. Both of them felt lost and didn't know where to go now. Ram asked Yuji about her power. Yuji told him that whenever she touches someone, she sees a color that represents that person's heart. Light colors are a sign of goodness and kindness. Dark colors mean evil, and black means a killer. When Ram asked her what color she sees in him, Yuji smiled. She said pink. A very beautiful pink color. It meant that Ram didn't want to hurt her. He wanted to protect her. As the night got colder, both of them started looking for a place to stay. Finally, they found an abandoned car workshop. Ram made Yuji sleep inside a car so she could stay warm, while he himself slept outside. But the next morning, he woke up in panic. Yuji had a severe cough. Her body was burning badly with fever. Ram immediately ran to get a blanket and came back to take care of her himself. But during this time, a couple nearby was secretly filming them. They were recording all of this for their YouTube channel. Ram spotted them. He went up to them, but instead of harming them, he calmly requested them not to upload that video on the internet. He said Yuji was sick and he couldn't risk running away again. The couple assured Ram that they were on his side. From what they had seen, they were completely convinced that this wasn't a kidnapping at all. Instead, it was a unique love story that deserved support. But then Yuji's condition suddenly worsened further. In a panic, Ram lifted her in his arms and ran towards the nearest clinic. The doctor opened the door and immediately agreed to treat her. When Ram admitted that he had no money, the doctor calmly said he already knew who they were. He knew they were on the run. But still, he decided not to betray them. He assured Ram that he wouldn't tell the police anything. So if Yuji has asked Torai, it means Yagami is not her grandfather. He is her real father. Around this time, Yuji started looking for a job, but she had one condition. No one was to ask for any identification. Naturally, this made it very difficult to get a job. But then she met a woman named Honey, who ran a busy restaurant. Yuji told her that she wanted to work for one day in exchange for a little money. Honey agreed without asking her name or even looking at her face. But Yuji's hard work and dedication impressed her so much that she said, I won't let you go just like that. She also invited Yuji for dinner. While eating, Honey quietly said, looking at you, it seems like you've run away from home, but I won't ask why. Instead, she offered Yuji a job, no questions asked, and even offered her a room to stay in. The next day, Yuji touched Honey's hand. She saw a green color. It was a symbol of kindness, but also of deep guilt. That night, Yuji asked Honey why she didn't question her identity, even though it could get the restaurant into trouble. Honey took out a lighter. She told her that she had a younger brother who was addicted to gambling. He always kept borrowing money from her. Every time, he promised it would be the last time, but his debts kept growing. Finally, the people who had lent him money refused to help him anymore. She had hoped this would change. He even allowed them to stay at the clinic that night and also prepared food for Ram. Meanwhile, after a long interrogation, Jean became completely certain that John was helping Ram. But without any evidence, he couldn't do anything. He was forced to let John go. After Yuji recovered, Ram returned to that same old workshop and started repairing an old car parked there. Soon, They started using that same car to get around, but Yuji didn't want Ram to get into more trouble because of her. She told him that there was still time. He should leave her. She said she would go back to her father, end everything, and make sure no harm came to Ram. But Ram refused. He didn't want Yuji to go back to that painful life again. Seeing no other way, Yuji decided to push him away from herself. She intentionally said hurtful words to him. She said he was a failure, someone who took the easy way out and couldn't even become a good mechanic, as Ling had hoped. Her words pierced Ram's heart like arrows. Ram threw all the moaner brother, but instead, the people he owed money to killed him. Since then, Honey had been living with guilt. Now, whenever she sees someone in trouble, no matter how wrong they might be, she helps them without thinking. She hopes that maybe she can prevent another tragedy. She gave that lighter to Yuji. She told her that when they had opened the restaurant, her brother had designed this lighter himself. She told Yuji, "Keep this with you. If you ever see someone in trouble, don't think too much, just help them." The next morning, Ram suddenly woke up to someone shoving him. It was John. She had hacked his phone and found his location. Both of them told each other everything that had happened so far, but Ram was still hurt and angry about what Yuji had said. John shook her head and said, "You're really stupid." He couldn't understand that Yuji had pushed him away precisely, so he wouldn't go back to jail. John advised him to immediately find Yuji and stay with her, no matter how much she resisted, because she needed him. Saying this, John left from there. Meanwhile, that YouTuber couple uploaded the video of Ram and Yuji on the internet. The entire internet filled with sympathy for them. But Hero used that same video to find the workshop where they had once stayed. Coincidentally, Yuji had also returned there. She hoped that maybe Ram would come back, and he really did. The two met again. Yuji told him about Honey and her new job. She apologized for pushing him away and thanked him for everything he had done for her. Ram smiled slightly and said, "I should be thanking you." He had decided that he would take the mechanic certification exam and finally fulfill both his own and Ling's dream. But this peaceful moment of theirs didn't last long. Suddenly, Hero showed up there. He apologized for coming between them, but he said that the time had come for Yuji to know the truth about herself. At that very moment, Hero told them everything. He said that the name of Yuji's power is Satori. When Yuji looked at him in confusion, he took a deep breath and said, "You've been kept in the dark your whole life." He explained that 4 years ago, when Yagami's health started declining, Kei had told King Yun a secret that Yagami had kept hidden for years. Yuji had the power of Satori, and this revelation changed everything. Hero continued, "Satori passes forward through Yagami's bloodline. But King Yun was an adopted son, and Yuji's mother was also not from the Yagami family. This means Yagami is not her grandfather. He is her real father." 4 years ago, when King-un found out this truth, he had a DNA test done on himself and Yuji. The results shattered his world. Yuji was not his biological daughter. He broke down crying. In reality, King-un and his wife had been having difficulty conceiving a child, so they had taken the help of artificial insemination. To find out the truth, he went to the doctor who had performed the procedure, and that's when the real truth came out. Yagami, working together with the doctor, had secretly used his own DNA. The procedure was successfully done in place of King-un, and Yagami escaped this crime only because Yuji's mother died during childbirth. By the time Ram tried to stop Hero, it was already too late. Yuji was completely shattered. She realized that the person she had blamed for so long was also a victim. Now only one feeling remained inside her: hatred for Yagami, the man whose blood ran through her veins. After revealing this huge truth, Hero left from there. Yuji collapsed to the ground and started screaming. Crying, she said, "There's a monster's blood running through my veins." She told Ram to leave her alone, but the very next moment, she decided to end her life. She poured petrol over herself. In her hand was the same lighter Honey had given her. She wanted to end everything. Just then, Ram arrived there. But instead of stopping her, he also poured petrol over himself. Looking into Yuji's eyes, he said, "If you go, I'll go with you too. I can't live without you." His words reached Yuji's heart. She broke down. Instead of lighting the fire, she fell into Ram's arms. Ram held her tightly, but they weren't alone. Standing at a distance, Hero was watching all of this. He was recording the entire incident and enjoying all of it. A short while later, the husband of Yuji's aunt arrived there because Hero had already contacted them. They attacked Ram. They thought he was the one who had kidnapped Yuji, and they took Yuji away with them. Meanwhile, another danger arose. Yamo had kidnapped Ram's mother. He wanted to use her as a hostage to force Ram to hand Yuji over to him, so he could get the ransom money for himself alone. Meanwhile, Yuji met her aunt once again. She was genuinely worried about her. When both of them held each other's hands, something strange happened. Neither of them was able to use Satori. Yuji was surprised. Then her aunt explained, because we share the same blood, our powers don't work on each other. She assured Yuji that she was safe now. But Yuji's first question was about Ram. Her aunt told her that he had been caught. Yuji immediately said, he didn't kidnap me. He was helping me. Hearing this, her aunt's husband set Ram free. Not only that, he also invited him to stay at their house. He told him, go take a bath and then eat with us. Ram was stunned by this sudden acceptance. Until just a little while ago, everyone had considered him a criminal. But everything changed the moment Yuji called him her partner. During dinner, everyone sat together and talked. Yuji's aunt apologized to her for everything Yagami had done. The truth was very complicated. Scientifically speaking, the relationship between Yuji and her aunt was more like sisters than aunt and niece. But despite this, Yuji continued to call her aunt. When Yuji asked what had really happened, her aunt started telling everything. Yagami was obsessed with preserving his family's bloodline. He valued his son more than his daughter, because his son also had the power of Satori, and he was the one meant to carry this legacy forward. But when his son died, Yagami was forced to depend on his daughter. She couldn't accept this. She left the family and decided that she would never have children. She wanted this cursed bloodline to end with her. Her husband supported her decision, but Yagami couldn't accept it, so he did what he did. He betrayed Kdrama. He controlled everything according to his own wishes. While telling all this, Yuji's aunt broke down. She kept apologizing again and again. She felt that if she hadn't left the family, maybe none of this would have happened. But then Ram spoke up. He said that he too was a victim, just like Yuji and Kdrama. And if they hadn't made that decision, maybe Yuji would never have come into this world at all. Thinking about this, the atmosphere became a little lighter. Everyone's faces had a slight bittersweet smile. After this, Yuji's aunt made a promise. She said that from now on, she would be like a mother to Yuji. She would protect her and never let her suffer alone again. Later, when Yuji sat alone with her aunt, she learned something new about Satori. Her aunt Satori didn't appear as colors. She could hear the voices of people's heart. The form was different, but the purpose was the same, reading heart. She also told her that together with her husband, she had used this same power to build a successful business. Their sweets company had made them very rich. She promised Yuji that she would help her build her own life on her own terms too. That night, Ram and Yuji stayed in the same room. Ram slept on the sofa while Yuji slept on the bed. The next morning, Ram's phone rang. When he picked it up, it was Yamo on the other end. He said in a cold voice, "You betrayed me, and now I have your mother." He told him that he had kept Ram's mother hostage at Ling's workshop. If Ram didn't bring Yuji there quickly, he would kill his mother. Hearing this, Yuji insisted that they had to save her. But Ram, filled with pain and anger, said something that shocked everyone. He said that part of him wanted Yamo to actually kill his mother. Her gambling addiction had ruined his entire life. Since childhood, he had to work, steal, and endure every kind of hardship just so he could support his mother. But Yuji refused to accept what he said. She said, "No matter what, she's still your mother. You can't leave her like this." Her words reached Ram's heart. Finally, he gave in. Both of them went to Yuji's aunt and told her everything. Yuji promised that she would return safely. After this, both of them headed towards Ling's workshop. Yamo was already waiting for them there. He threw handcuffs towards Ram and ordered him to handcuff Yuji. Reluctantly, Ram did as he was told. But as Yamo moved forward to search him, Ram suddenly attacked him. He wanted to escape with his mother and Yuji, but Yamo was ready. He shocked Ram with a taser. Ram immediately fell unconscious. After this, Yamo started beating him mercilessly. When Ram regained consciousness, he found himself tied up. His mother and Yuji were also tied up beside him. All three of them had now become prisoners. They waited, because Yamo had already contacted Kdrama. He told Kdrama that he now had Yuji, and that he wanted 300 million yen in exchange for her release. And this time, the real game had begun. Meanwhile, Jin was already searching for Yamo. He knew that he was the third partner in the kidnapping. But unlike Ling, Yamo wasn't driven by pain or revenge. He was doing all this just for the money. When Kdrama received Yamo's message, he immediately called him. On the phone, he heard Yuji's voice. He agreed right away to give the 300 million yen. Meanwhile, Yuji secretly handed her lighter to Ram and told him to free his mother first so she could help them. When Yamo took Yuji to meet Kdrama, Ram managed to free his mother. Ram's mother immediately struck Yamo on the head. Yamo lost his balance. Taking advantage of the moment, they freed Yuji too, and then all three of them ran from there to save their lives. Meanwhile, Ki-eun ordered his assistant to transfer the money into Yamo's account, but his assistant hesitated. Then he revealed something that changed everything. Ki-eun no longer had that money. The company's board had removed him from his position, and a rival company called Hover had acquired Yagami Pharmaceutical. Ki-eun had lost everything. Realizing this truth, he collapsed right there, completely broken. Yuji, Ram, and his mother returned to the home of Yuji's aunt, where they were warmly welcomed. Yuji's aunt thanked Ram from her heart for protecting Yuji. Later, she sat with Yuji and explained the entire situation to her. She told her that Ki-eun had officially been removed from his position and that the Yagami company had been sold to Hover. She admitted that she had done all this intentionally. She wanted to free Ki-eun from the cursed legacy of the Yagami family and wanted to cut ties with that dark past forever. After this, she advised Yuji that she should go meet her father, because right now Ki-eun needed her more than ever before. As Yuji was heading towards her room, she overheard Ram's mother asking for money for gambling again. Ram heard this too. He got filled with anger. He wanted to throw her out of the house. He was certain she would never change, but Yuji stopped him. She took Ram's mother to Honey and told her the story of Honey's brother, how his gambling addiction had ended his life. This touched Ram's mother's heart deeply. She broke down. She got scared that her own end might turn out the same way. Finally, she decided to go to a rehabilitation center and started her treatment. Later, she apologized to Ram for all her mistakes. Ram forgave her and hoped that one day she would come back to him and they could live together. The next day, Yuji and Ram went to meet Ki-eun at the Yagami company. As soon as Ki-eun saw Yuji, he became emotional. He couldn't say anything at all. Then Ram stepped forward and asked him directly, "Why did you do that to Ling?" Ki-eun told the whole truth. He said that he too had been a victim. Yagami had kept everything under his control. It was Yagami who had broken the agreement and used the medicine for profit. When Ki-eun tried to protest, Yagami used Satora to control his mind, forcing him to stay silent and obedient. After this, Ki-eun looked at Yuji and said that he never really wanted to kill her. The dark feelings Yuji had sensed through Satora weren't meant for her. They were meant for Yagami. Even until his last breath, Yagami had been proud of what he did. He was proud that he had used Yuji's mother to carry forward his bloodline. Ki-eun admitted that despite everything, he loved Yuji deeply. Even though she wasn't his biological daughter, he had raised her, and behind his strictness had always been his concern for her safety. To prove this, he extended his hand and said, "Hold my hand and read my heart." But before Yuji could touch his hand, Yamo suddenly arrived there. He tried to attack Yuji with a knife, but Ki-eun stepped in front of her and took the hit himself. Ram immediately reacted and knocked Yamo to the ground. At that same moment, Jean arrived and arrested Yamo. Ram immediately called an ambulance. Seeing her father covered in blood, Yuji broke down. But fortunately, the ambulance arrived in time. Ki-eun was rushed into the operation theater. At the hospital, the police prepared to arrest Ram. But Jean asked them to wait a little while. He wanted Ram to be able to say a proper goodbye. After some time, Ki-eun's surgery was successful. Yuji was filled with relief. When Ki-eun opened his eyes, he found Yuji sitting beside him. His face lit up with happiness. He held Yuji's hand, and this time Yuji saw the pink color. Pure love. Everything Ki-eun had said was true. Yuji burst into tears and hugged him tightly. Ki-eun said, "I love you. After I get out of the hospital, I will fix all my mistakes." After coming out of the hospital, Yuji went looking for Ram. He wasn't there. At that moment, Yuji understood what he had done. Ram had turned himself into the police. Outside the hospital, Ram was surrounded by journalists. He said calmly, "Yes, I kidnapped her for ransom." But he denied everything else. He didn't admit that the two of them loved each other. He also didn't reveal that Yuji had gone with him of her own will. He took all the blame on himself so that Yuji could remain safe. When he turned around, he heard Yuji standing there. He looked at her, gave her a small smile, and then got into the police car. Time passed. John left her hacker life behind and started a real mobile cafe. Now she wasn't alone. Ning was with her too. The two of them became each other's closest companions. Meanwhile, Ki-eun also moved forward with his life with a new beginning. He started a new company and gradually, along with Yuji, he too found peace. 2 years later, Yuji opened a daycare center. She started taking care of Lien and gave him the love he had always needed. One day, Lien came running to her, excited, and said, I have a surprise for you. Yuji turned around, and there stood Ram. He hugged Yuji tightly, then took Lien into his arms too. He had kept his promise. He had come back. Later, it was revealed that Ram had been released early due to good behavior. Finally, when the three of them sat together, Ram and Yuji confessed their love for each other. Ram said that he wanted to take the mechanic certification exam to fulfill his dream and also carry forward Ling's legacy. And this time, the two of them could live together freely, without any fear, and with this, their story reached a beautiful conclusion.